Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Michelle.
So we have the constructive triangles task cards here. What can you tell us about them?
Absolutely. I mean, the constructive triangle is one of my favorite materials. It is a series of boxes, and in them, as you might imagine from the name, are collections of triangles. And so you have a rectangular box, and then you have your hexagonal, your small, your large, your triangle box. So you have a series of boxes. They all have triangles, and they all come with a series of presentations. I think what I really love about this material is it's one of the few, if only, materials that spans all the three main core program levels that most schools have. It is in primary classrooms, it's in lower elementary classrooms, it's in upper elementary classrooms, and yet it does different things. You present it in a different way. And so this is a great work if you're doing a parent education night at your school. It's a great work to show this is how it's presented to you when you're 4, then when you're 8, and when you're 11. It's a very versatile material. I guess that's the word I'm searching for, because it does lots of things with different levels of complexity. And so it's a beautiful Montessori material. So actually, how is it used in 3 to 6? More sensorial?
So in the 3 to 6 classroom, it is used as a sensorial material. It is very tactile because the children will be constructing, they will start off by constructing triangles, and then from there they'll move on and realize that they can make other shapes with the same triangles. And it's a classic Montessori material. Everybody knows what the constructive triangles are. Yeah. So it's very useful in that way.
Yeah, I would say if there's maybe just a change in emphasis at lower elementary, where primary is more obviously exploratory, more sensorial. A child at 6, 7, 8 years old, they're more interested in language, and so you start introducing the etymology. This is where this word triangle comes from. This is where the word rhombus comes from. So now, as the child is still constructing them, probably not with the same amount of care that they did when they're 4, because they're 7 and 8 now. But still, they're still making the shapes in the same way. But now we're identifying that. Oh, okay, we made a rectangle, we made a parallelogram, we made another type of parallelogram, we made a trapezoid, and now the emphasis is on that, like I say, and the etymology as well. Further on in upper elementary, now they're doing area work with the constructive triangles. What's the difference between congruency and similarity and equivalency, and some fairly complex area formulas. It really forms the basis. But again, taking something that's a very abstract thing, how do we find the area of a shape we cannot read into little squares? How can we do that in a very concrete way? And so the set of task cards here, pretty straightforward. We have really 5 different sections of them. There's a lot of cards in each of them, and what they do is they mimic, they mirror, they reflect the different task cards, reflect the different shapes, the different boxes that they're doing. So I present them. There's an order. There's a sequence that I'm going to present these to any 6 to 9 year old, and so I'm starting with the triangle box. I present it, and now I have the task cards that are going to go for it. This is one of those materials where the teacher presents it, and then afterwards, often in the manual, it'll just say something like, the child gets out to work on their own. I think the task card gives the child that maybe needs a little bit more structure. Well, what am I actually doing with this box? And also it's a language work. I think that's something that we don't often talk about when we talk about the value of a command card, is it's also language. And so
vocabulary as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing geometry, but I'm reading. I'm doing this, but I'm reading. And so this, and again, all in colors that are going to match, so the child can see exactly what the material looks like, is going to be shown here as an illustration. And of course, like any good task card, to keep it something that is going to control error and keep it independent, is the child isn't always having to say, like, is this okay? Is this okay? The answer, if you will, is going to be on the back. And so we have, for our triangle box, we have our large hex, we have our small hex, we have our rectangular box, and then we have our sometimes called our box of pinwheels. But for each of them, it has like the picture of the diagram on the first, and then an explanation. Well, like you said, the language is there as well. And I think language is very important in geometry. It gives us the etymology, and the etymology can often help us with I can't necessarily remember the name rhombus, but I remember it comes from a spinning top, and a rhombus looks like a top. So okay, that's her. So it often serves as a good mnemonic device as well. So yeah, great material.
Thank you so much.